Alright, hello everybody. I am SDiezal. We are running. I am joined with the Satellite 54. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing alright. How about y'all?
I'm doing great. He's gonna be joining me on commentary for the next Zelda game in the Zelda block here. Oh, I'm sorry, the Newtopia block.
This is very turbo graphics, can't you tell?
Very turbo graphics. I mean, I can't tell a difference at all. This is Newtopia 3. I hope you are ready for the next speedrun in this series. We're doing 100%, and let me get my timer ready here. We're going to be going over a couple rules that only apply to 100% that would not normally apply to other categories for Link to the Past. Well, we'll get into those when we get there. But in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Let's do it. Diesel, do you mind if I grab a drink?
Go right ahead, Satellite.
Oh yeah.
Man, that sounds like a delicious beverage.
Mountain Dew Baja Blast now comes in cans, and yes, I bought 3 cases.
And I swear that's the only scripted part of this run. Alright, let's go.
It's all downhill from here, folks.
Alright guys, so you know that first chest in Link's house normally carries the lamp. It does. Well, we're going to skip that for now because we're going to pick it up here in just a few minutes. And I'll explain why when we get there as well. First bit of movement tech there. A little stutter walk. Called pumping. We'll get into that more later. If that looks a little weird, it'll save frames. The delicious frames that we need. As delicious as
delicious. This is Baja Blast.
Is that This run has been brought to you by Baja Blast. In 100%, we will be collecting. So for the most part, the beginning of this run is going to look a lot like No Major Glitches until we get to Desert Palace. That's actually when the route branches off into the 100% route and you collect a heart piece that is only a little bit out of your way.
I feel like I should state for the record that my main experience with this game is any percent NMG and randomizer, so some of the finer intricacies 100% I'm familiar with, but not as familiar with.
Looks like did the stream die? Oh no. Oh no. No. It did not.
Looking into the light, appreciate the patience.
Oh. Oh, it's okay. Sorry for any issues. We should be okay.
So yeah, normally if you get every chest in a run, I'm pretty sure that's a blue rupee that's in that chest normally.
Yes. So if you
skip all the chests, yeah.
That is where the lamp shows up in this run. If you don't get it in Link's house, and normally, yeah, it's just a rupee chest, I believe.
This game really wants you to have the lamp, as it turns out. Who knew a required item was important?
It is a 100% required item. If you've ever played Randomizer, when you go into this next room without the lamp, it just won't show. But I actually believe in vanilla it still will show, even if you don't have the lamp. But if you like glitch into the room for some reason, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because normally Zelda will not let you go in this room at all.
Yeah,
don't have a lamp.
it just blocks it all out completely. But all right, looks like we're back. Awesome.
Excellent.
So the first part of this run is pretty much what we call the escape sequence. We're bursting into the castle, we're getting Zelda, and we're piecing out as quickly as possible.
Usually the escape sequence at the end of the game. Oh wait, this is Metroid.
We don't have a timer. This place isn't about to blow up. This good old snake room here is completely RNG. That's where they're gonna be.
I believe you mean rope room. I'm sorry.
Oh, the rope room. Sorry. I gotta speak to the terminology here. They definitely look like ropes.
Yeah, I mean, ropes are definitely vicious creatures that bite you. I wonder if the rats have a different name.
I've actually never found that out.
What if they're just like the one enemy in the series that has like a regular name? Rats.
Rats. So in this screen, that rat will always have the small key. Pretty much you need to either... He'll always run to the left, but his actions after that are a little random. This next room coming up, the switch room, if you hold right going into the transition... Nah, I didn't get it. If you hold right going into that transition, you can skip the first dialogue box, but it's a little picky. And a 608 escape. That was not the best, but we'll go with it.
That's a good question. What is in the chest of Link's house if we went back for it?
If I were to take a guess, because I don't know, I would say probably a rupee chest.
Yeah, it might be one of those 5 rupees.
Yeah. I feel like there's just like this set of like default rupees that just change depending on when you get the chest.
And that is the only heart container in the game that will refill your health.
Yeah. That is the Sanctuary Heart. Very necessary for 100%, but definitely optional to skip it in NMG, which is actually optimal. It is skipped in very top tier speedruns. You skip that chest. But we definitely need it for this run.
So normally in vanilla, once you leave the sanctuary, you're told to go to Kakariko Village and ask about the Elder, but clearly we don't need to do that at all.
Not at all. That is a definite, just like lore. It's like a lore fetch quest. Coming up to here, we're going to see the first instance of the stair pumping, but you can't actually see what I'm doing. But if you when you go up or actually it's just upstairs, if you mash left and right, you actually save a few frames by climbing these stairs. And actually right here, you can skip that soldier from interacting with you completely if you do that. So you pretty much just hold up and just mash left and right, called stair pumping. You're going to use that a lot until you get your boots, which are actually right after this dungeon.
Oh, you still use them even when you get boots.
Yeah, use it in other categories until you get boots as well. But it's a very nifty little movement tech that is found in this game, which for some reason works. I don't know why.
It just works.
It just works. This room's Stalfo's room. There are 4 that spawn. If you kill the top 2 before they spawn with those pots just like that and walking in that very specific path that I took, it will cancel out the bottom Stalfos, which allows you to pretty much skip half that room.
It is a very amusing little trick.
Little despawn trick. Grab those arrows there.
That's actually a small optimization with how you pick up those arrows in that room. Oh, there are places where we get money for flippers. Don't worry.
There will be numerous places where it is actually extremely convenient for the money collection that we get for flippers. It's almost like the game is like telling you to take this path to get flippers. This next room up here, the Popo room. Good deboost there.
Very good deboost.
So normally you would have to kill every enemy in this room, and then the anti-fairies remove themselves from the pot that you need to hit that switch from. If you just deboost right into it with the correct iframes, you can skip having to do that altogether. We're gonna grab the arrows.
Tricky, but not too bad.
Yeah, you don't have to deboost off the Popo. You can actually go from the stairs. So if you walk directly down from the stairs where the chest is, directly into the anti-fairies, it'll work that way too. That's just a little bit more of an optimal way.
Yeah, when you grab those fairies there, that's what I meant by a small optimization. You just save that for when you're going down towards the chest.
A despawn trick. David, thank you very much for that.
This dungeon definitely has no shortage of arrows. It's almost like it's a dungeon item.
Got away from me. And again. It's okay.
Actually, Stafford's movement is fairly erratic.
Yeah, we're actually really good on our arrow count. Shot that one a little bit too soon. Oh, back it up. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, it's a good thing there's hearts in these pots.
That was very unusual. Alright, Armos fight. I will explain this after we do it.
Hmm.
There we go.
Nice.
Alright, so if you're familiar with the Armos fight, they will always go in the same clockwise pattern as you saw them jumping in. That way you can kind of set yourself up to leave 2 arrows in the final Armos that's going to be in your path, which will allow you to kill it with 1 final arrow. Because once you get to the last Armos, it turns red and it goes really fast. It wants to stomp your head, and it goes directly. It gets stopping mad. It homes in on you, and it just makes the fight a lot more annoying. But if you leave an arrow left in it to kill, you can skip that animation by killing it very quickly. So yeah, it's pretty decent strat. There's different ways you can do that strat as well. That's just the most common way of doing it.
And now here's the best exploit in the game. One of them, anyway. Certain bombable walls you can actually break with the boots instead of the bombs, so you can save bombs that way.
Saves you a lot of bombs. We're actually going to pick up those bombs because we're going to need them here coming up in just a second. Normally you skip them in NMG.
It's bad I thought there was a heart container in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks
Randomizer does things to you.
Yes, it does. So the first thing you also just saw there is now that we have boots, we'll be able to do this really awesome thing called spin speed. Satellite, you want to explain what spin speed is?
So spin speed is a very interesting little trick where, is it frame perfect?
It is.
So yeah, it's a frame perfect trick where you hold the spin attack button, and as soon as you let go of the spin attack after he charges, and tap the dash button, Link will not be able to use the sword during this state. And once you touch these stairs and go off, you just go flying. You use this very many times throughout the run.
Yeah, you can only do this strat, or this trick in the Japanese version of the game. So we're gonna do it right here. Within 1 frame of releasing the sword spin, you just tap the A button, walk off the stairs, and you are flying.
Basically, the easiest way to do it is just to roll your thumb off of the B button onto the A button.
That is the easiest way that I have found to do it, yeah. So after we get our Book of Medora, we head into Desert Palace. Like I said earlier, this is where the route branches off from NMG to 100%. We'll be starting from this dungeon. We'll be collecting some heart pieces and a few other things. Hello.
Oops.
I normally go a little bit more further left in that area, but that's okay.
He mentioned this trick being exclusive to Japanese 1.0, but really the majority of tricks, useful tricks, are exclusive to Japanese 1.0, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, she went left. The interesting tricks that you'll see in this run, at least, yeah, are exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version.
Yeah, the vast majority. There are some little exploits that are still doable on other versions of the game, but the big time savers are Japanese exclusive. Yeah, so normally you bonk the torch directly with the boots, but for some reason you could just bonk that wall too.
Yeah, as long as you are touching the lamp whatsoever, and you make the bonk in the same stride, it'll just like bonk right off of it. You don't have to bonk it directly. It's a weird little strat as well. That room's pretty scripted as long as you get the dashes correctly. Oh, hello. The cannonballs, however, are not scripted. Those are random for the most part.
There is a sound cue, I believe, right?
Yes, there is a sound cue. Yeah, it's really tough. This pot right here is static for 5 arrows, so we always pick up that one. There's a few other pots that we'll pick up 4 arrows in this next room as well. Arrow countage is very important in this dungeon because you're going to need it for Lamellus. I just get all of those 4 right in the first go. Stair pump there. And you're going to and then you actually dash out of that room. It's faster.
If you can get it, the strat for the boss fight is pretty fun. If you don't get it, it's very aggravating.
Yeah, you want as much airs as you can get for Lamellus coming up.
It's very easy to not get it.
Also, that screen right there, if you don't dash the second you enter that transition, you will get caught in the quicksand. All right, here we go. Heart piece number 1. We're going to actually spin speed our way there. Hello. Just like that. It's super easy. Not a very hard strat to learn at all. Part 2 of Desert Palace, we're going to be doing our first key dash. Just like that. If you line yourself up correctly on certain doors, you can dash through them. Normally you would bonk that door, but there are specific setups where you can actually dash through them. We call them key dashes.
It's always a certain pixel distance away.
Exactly, yeah. Same right here. As long as you kind of line yourself up. Oh, I didn't do it correctly. You can actually like dash off that lamp, off the side of it, and you'll get the key dash. That's actually a good cue for it.
I'm actually not entirely sure on the calculation for that. I think it's just like it's a multiple of a certain number of pixels.
Yeah, there's a window. It's a very small window of frames in pixels. You need to get past that dude before he wakes back up. And here we go with Lammo. So the first one's a little predictable. 2 there. And then from here on out, it's pretty random as to where they're going to go.
Yeah, it's very... It's an aggravating fight. I will let Diesel focus.
Just barely missed him there. There we go. He should probably need like 1 or 2 more arrows and he's done. There we go. So,
nice.
It can be a very frustrating fight because of how random it is, and a lot of runners will always tell you a lot of the runs just come to this fight and die. But, I mean, thankfully it's pretty early in most speedruns of categories for this game, so the worst case scenario is you have to reset here, but this is usually pretty tough fight, RNG-wise.
Yeah, they do not like to play nice.
Heck to the no. So our second heart piece here is I've heard this cave pronounced 2 different ways. I've heard Agana and Agina. I mean, either way, this is that cave here. I go with Agana. It's H-E-I-N-A-H. I mean, you could pronounce it both ways, I guess.
This game is full of characters that people have trouble pronouncing, I'm realizing. Sahasrara, Agana, Aganim, or Aganim.
Oh, Key Dash is a 4-pixel alignment trick. Okay. Yeah, the Ice Rod actually does, if Ice Rod and Fire Rod, we'll actually be using a Fire Rod strat later on for Lamo in Ganon's Tower, but yeah, 4-pixel alignment, it's good to know.
Yeah, Ice Rod can be obtained before this dungeon casually, but fortunately it's not fast enough in the routing for speedruns.
Yeah. Coming up is Fake Flipper, Satellite. Well, I set up for this if you want to go over that.
So Fake Flipper is a very interesting trick where if you fall into the water and trigger the screen transition at the exact same time as SDiezal did first try, you will trick the game into thinking you have the flippers.
It's very useful for this very moment in the speedrun, and that's about it.
The trouble, though, is if you get hit, you will be in a permanent soft lock state where it will keep.
It's a very dangerous.
And you'll keep flopping in and out of the water.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous strat. I don't know why I spin speed there. That if you do get hit in that state, it will soft lock the game, and that is an immediate reset. But for the most part, it's a pretty consistent setup. The only way that it usually happens is if one of the Zoras just pop up right in front of the whirlpool that you're about to enter.
It's all a matter of moving as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And here is Gary. That's not his official name, but that's his name in my heart.
It's his name among many communities is Gary Oldman.
No, it's Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is someone else.
Or is he? Like Gary Oldman would play this guy in a Link to the Past movie for sure.
Calling Nintendo? No. So welcome to Death Mountain, home of the Dead Rocks, the most annoying enemy in the game.
Yeah, easily the most enemy annoying in the game. Gonna grab our mirror.
It's very easy for them to get in your way, and you cannot kill them without one certain item. However, if they're in the rock state, you have to wait for them to unfreeze before you can kill them, and it's not really worth it at that point.
Also, one of the other more useful areas for spin speed is Death Mountain for sure. Don't you dare talk to me.
That ball has a lot of dialogue.
You do not want to run into that ball because he has a lot of dialogue that you have to mash through, and it is just a huge time waste. I've done that so many times.
So, as we were saying, Dead Rock is the most annoying enemy in this game. Although I'm pretty sure you could have despawned it if you walked off and came back.
Yeah, I probably could have, but it was for example.
So Dead Rocks, just to satisfy curiosity, can be killed if you had the magic, but you have to sprinkle it on them while they're not in rock state.
Yes. That is the only way to kill them. Talk about
true.
sniped.
Quake as well. Quake counts, but they both have the same effect. And once again, it can only be done while they're in not in rock mode.
God. So there's a little cool strat you can do with the pegs here. If you hit that, if you're able to get that switch to hit, whether it be arrow, boomerang, bomb, while you're standing on the pegs, you can be in iframes and not have to worry about this. But I want to save my bombs for now and my arrows. You can just do that, though. Boomerang is a really cool strat, though. So mini Moldorns are really annoying enemies.
They do a full heart of damage, so they're one of the deadlier enemies early on.
Oh.
These guys are just plain annoying.
There's a lot of annoying enemies in this dungeon. Including the boss, but we'll get there. I love that song. It's fantastic.
It makes me wish I used this joke earlier, but screw it. I'll just do it anyway. What's your favorite form of music? Mine's dead rock.
I'm gonna hit that for just a safety strat. That opens up like a whole bunch of hearts right before Moldorm.
So yeah, pits in this game. Pits are very easy to walk past if you walk along the bottom of them.
Yeah. That one there. Alright, so first bomb jump coming up.
That's a very wonderful set of emotes.
And the way that works is when you set a bomb down and bonk off a wall, the iframes you get between landing and the bomb explosion kind of makes you kind of like just blow away a little bit. It gives you a little of like a jump. And we use that to our advantage in going over gaps that we would normally not be able to do. So that's our first bomb jump. We'll be doing a few others in this run. Here comes...
You'll see that plenty more times.
Yeah, we'll see it a couple more times. Here comes Moldorn, who's notoriously been in a couple runs so far tonight.
Almost did a number in the Link's Awakening run.
He's definitely way more annoying than he was, as we just previously saw in Link's Awakening.
This fight has a chance to go very wrong or very right, and Diesel got very lucky here.
Yeah, that was a pretty clean fight. His patterns are predictable, but his movement, like his directions as to where he goes, is not. So that's one thing you can kind of try to bank on. I don't know why. I tried to do a little thing there and it didn't work. So we're going to go here and grab this now.
Yeah, if you get to spin speed there, it's a small optimization.
It's not even worth going for if you miss it, though. You can actually grab this heart before you do Tower of Hera if you can hover. It's faster to do it if you can hover. You can actually hover over this gap from the bottom and collect it. It saves a little bit of time.
Hovering is a very, very, very difficult trick. If you mash the dash button fast enough, you can actually walk over gaps.
Yeah, if you mash the... if you know about hovering, you mash the A button every other frame, which is 30 times a second, and no, it's every other frame in the game, and it's really tough.
If you want to watch good hovering, go watch Andy.
I went to the wrong door, did I? I did.
Correct.
I always go to the wrong door, leaving Death Mountain.
Boulders.
Yeah.
You got pretty good luck with the boulders coming up, but
not so much the second trip. The second most unnecessary trip. Hovering is a witchcraft.
yes, that's pretty much true.
As Uniformed has said.
It is very easy to bonk in this room and fall down a pit and start over, so you've got to time your stop at the perfect moment.
I cancel it. I cancel it way earlier than I need to, just so I don't bonk that wall and into the pit. It's very easy to do.
And now we're on our way to get the Master Sword. And beat the game, right?
Yeah, it's into the game, right? All right,
Can you imagine being a kid in the 90s and thinking this was the end of the game?
You get to the Master Sword, you're like, yeah! It's like, I did it, right? It's like, no, you didn't. So we skipped the mushroom coming to the Master Sword. The reason why we do that is we get it on the way back is because that mushroom will actually respawn even though you have the mushroom in your inventory. So we basically avoid it the first time, so we just avoid collecting it twice.
You know, I always wondered what the reason for that was, but now I know. I didn't... Like, I knew it respawned, but I didn't consider that was actually the reason.
Yeah. Hey, Infinite Mystery, thank you for the good luck. Shoutouts to Infinite.
Can you imagine if it respawned a randomizer? Infinite hookshots!
Can you believe this blind ped pull and I pulled out the Master Sword? What a seed. So coming back, pick it up.
It smells like rotten fruit.
Smells like rotten fruit. Wait a minute, no, that's we don't know that yet. I'm gonna drop in this hole here. Grab Mr. Heart Piece there.
Can you believe this thief just hides in a tree and throws hearts on top of his ledges?
I don't want to know, man. I don't want to know.
Can you believe the inside of the tree is made out of rocks?
So on our way to, I don't think I've mentioned, so the category, oh god, after that bonk, the category that we run within 100% follows pretty much the same base rules of no major glitches, low percent, all of the categories that are not restricted on saving and quitting. This is why you have not seen a single save and quit yet. These categories do not allow that. So when we go from location to location, we have to do it without going back to the title screen. We do this all in one shot. Now there are other categories as no save and quit, any percent, and etc. But for NMG, this category, we do not really ever need to hit the select button and save our game.
I've always thought these guards were amusing with the way they had their swords up.
Yep.
It looks like they're just chasing you with swords like above their shoulders, and just looks so silly in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the rationale on skipping the mushroom is because the mushroom respawns, and it's basically a safety so that we don't accidentally pick it up a second time on our way back. Because even though if you have the mushroom in your inventory, it'll still show up.
So that maze room, it took me until I started both playing randomizer and learning to speedrun to realize that you can ignore the top half of that maze entirely.
Yep.
You just go straight down and...
A lot of Aghanim's tower here is in the dark until you get to the later half of it. This room here...
Aghanim forgot to pay his electricity bill.
He's got the torches, man. You should just use it. You can do a key dash here if we can just set it up right. There we go.
Sweet.
This room's a little annoying. We want to kind of get a double. We're not going to get it there. Pin him against the wall. Get a double spin. There we go. This room we're going...
Against the wall, very optimal for stronger enemies. Yeah, you tap the wall and enemies come running.
Makes it a lot faster going after them. This guy, I can't believe he didn't hear me right there.
It's usually it's a lot nicer if that guy does not come to the left so you can throw the pot straight at the first guard. A lot of the time, he likes to get in the way. Build a tower and run out of window money. Yep.
Yeah.
Although I guess this was here before Aghanim, technically, so I guess it's the King of Hyrule's fault.
How dare he?
Unless Aghanim build over the windows, who knows?
Alright, so we have come to the first either time saver or time waster of your run. First big heavy RNG aspect of the run. Everybody knows him. He's your boy Aghanim.
How many blue balls are we going to get?
How many blue balls are we going to get, guys?
So Aghanim has two attacks. The regular fireball, which you will always lead with in every cycle. Or the blue ball attack, which splits. The regular energy ball you can deflect. The blue balls you cannot. And it takes 6 reflections to kill this guy.
It can be any number from 0 to 15, and we're already at 1, so...
That's number 1. So he always will throw 4 shots and then do a lightning attack.
Oh boy, there's 2.
And then the first shot he throws after lightning will always be... But the other 3 after that can be anything. So we have 3 so far. This could still be a 2 cycle if we're very lucky.
Alright, it's looking good so far. I think the headbanging's working. Yes! Hey, not bad. Hey, I will take that all day, every day. Very good Aghanim fight. Very good RNG.
A 2-cycle will always be the best you can get. It's just a matter of how many blue balls are in that 2-cycle.
Exactly. Great fight. I never ever get that lucky with blue balls. Usually it's in the 4 to 5. Most of my runs.
Yeah, obviously you want 0, but 2 is acceptable.
Yeah.
3 and beyond becomes aggravating.
Right, I'm not going to forget Pyramid Heart here. I'm just reminding myself as I mash through this text that Sasrala is telling us we need to go rescue the 7 maidens in Zelda and all that good stuff.
Yes, the hospital really likes to talk.
He loves the talk, man.
For very many nicknames for this guy, including Sriracha Man, Sassy Rassy. I've even heard Sarah.
God dang it. Hold on. I'm gonna go get I'm gonna grab this fairy real quick. I think
There's always a fairy in this tree.
Sassy Rassy might be my favorite. Just because it's so easy to say, and it's just like, oh, he's a Sassy Rassy. So many bonks here. So everything in the Dark World absolutely wrecks you. Like, as you can see, just those regular pig enemies, just running into them gives you 2 hearts. The big Igor dudes, well, not the Igors, but the big eye guys that throw the bombs, they do like 4 hearts of damage if you run into them. Everything in here does a lot of damage. We're not getting any tunic upgrades until Ganon's Tower, which is the last dungeon in this game. So we'll be having more hearts than usual. We're still going to take a lot of damage to anything that we just run into or anything like that. We still want to be as careful as we can. Hi, Kiki.
Here's the first of a few different times you need money in this run. Kiki will not open this door for you unless you pay him 100 rupees. Well, 110 technically, because you have to pay him 10 rupees to tag along.
Exactly.
He is a greedy monkey, and
very...
he does not run a delivery service.
Hey man, those bananas aren't going to grow themselves. Wait a minute.
I mean...
Maybe he's spending that money on his retirement. I like to do a little change here. Switch to mirror so you don't have to worry about it later, and then go from there. First dungeon in Dark World, Palace of Darkness. We're going to be doing the next big bomb jump coming up here soon. And this bomb jump is pretty crucial. It allows you to skip a good portion of this dungeon for 1 small key.
It's also the most difficult to pull off.
It is, of all the bomb jumps, the hardest to pull off. But it... Oh, what am I doing? I went the wrong way.
Oh, oops. So if you fall down the right bridge, you'll have landed there.
Oh, why did I mirror? I was right there.
Dark Palace can be a little bit confusing.
I'm too attached to my muscle memory, so even though I was right there where I was supposed to be, I still... I had the instinction to just mirror out and just restart. Palace of Darkness has gone through a couple different route changes over the years, and I have yet to adapt fully to the new route. So we have to bomb this again. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That was a rando strat also.
It is very difficult to shake rando strats.
Yeah, I was saying before my run started. Oh no, hello.
Uh-oh. I didn't realize that could happen there.
Neither did I. That's the first I've ever had it happen on those stairs.
There's a staircase that happens on all the time in Swamp Palace, but here I've never seen that, huh?
Yeah.
We can't have a marathon without never done that before.
But yeah, I was mentioning before the run, it is hard to shake rando strats sometimes.
The bomb jump coming up, it's possible to do unbuffered, but it's very tricky. So you can buffer it, then it's much easier to buffer.
Yeah, it's actually how I learned how to do this strat. I made myself learn how to do it unbuffered. So here we go.
All right, let's go.
Should be good for there. Oh. That should be good as well.
Looks good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Okay, so this lets you skip the entire dark maze. And a key. Go straight to the dungeon item. Pardon the cat interruption.
The cat is commenting on the bomb jump. This is also a good dungeon to load up on bombs, because you're going to need those coming up later in like Ice Palace and a few other bomb jumps.
Whenever you use the mirror, everything respawns, including the pot material. So
from there, you can actually hit the switch with the arrow. That saves you from going all the way around the other side.
Tell them about the hammer dash. Or just show 'em.
Ah! There we go. So, hammer dash, as we see there, we're going to see that a lot in this run. If you mash the Y button and the A button with some items in this game, they will be used at the same time. I believe that is also a Japanese 1.0 glitch as well. Yeah, it is. Okay. In this case, you can dash and use the hammer at the same time, which allows you to... Oh, but I can't there. To dash through pots, through the pegs, and a few other things. Well, yeah, just pots and pegs, but you can use it
You
for...
can also use it later with the hook shot to as an easy replacement for spin speed.
Yeah, that's right. You can use that. We'll be using that with the hook shot later.
This game has some very interesting programming, but I mean, it's nothing you would never really find playing vanilla anyway, so...
Yeah, unless like you accidentally do it for whatever reason.
If you still have full health here, you could have a small optimization by using the sword beams on that switch, so you don't have to switch to the bow.
I know, I got hit for the dumbest reasons there. Turtle room here is super annoying. Didn't want to do that.
Yeah, the door will not open until you kill these turtles.
You have to flip them over with a hammer first. You can use a spin to kill them really quickly, but it's still really tough.
It's sometimes very randomly. One of these terror pins, as they're called, will show up in this room.
Yeah.
And I do not know how it works.
I don't know why that happens either. One will just randomly show up in that room. It's just like, what are you doing here?
It is also possible to key dash into that room.
Yeah.
To meet the Helmasaur.
I didn't want to try it, but if you want to go over the Helmasaur fight...
Helmasaur King is fairly straightforward. You just need to use the hammer on his mask. Bombs work too, but they're much slower. In the second phase, you just wail on that crystal there. You can use arrows too, but it's very trickier. He does 2 hearts of damage for most of his attacks. I believe the fireballs are 1.
I just wanted
hit by that tail.
I just wanted one cycle where I didn't get fireballs. Like as long as you don't get fireballs, that fight's super easy. But the optimal strat is to use hammer, but it's super sketch and risky. But yeah, I mean that's for the most part. You just want to avoid the fireballs. That's like the worst patterns you want to get.
What I'm surprised I didn't see you do, if you hold the sword out in the charge motion, you can use the hammer to hit the mask, and Link won't turn around after he makes contact.
I would also like to chime in with Drumboardist, where I thought that was the intended method for Helmasaur when I was a kid. Even though you do get the hammer in this dungeon, it still never clicked in my head that's how you're supposed to break his face shield. I always thought, well, bombs work. I'll just toss a bunch of bombs.
Interestingly, I never even knew you could use bombs until later when other people said it's what they used.
Yeah, I think it goes like it's 50-50 from like what I noticed from other people. They thought it was either bombs or hammer, but yeah, if you follow the Zelda logic, you use the weapon that you collect in that dungeon for the boss. So
not all the time, even
not
the past.
Exactly, it's not all the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, use the Moon Pearl on Moldorm and kind of smack him over the head with it.
hit Moldorm with the Moon Pearl.
It just shatters and Moldorm dies.
We're going to be using a hammer dash right here on this section. I actually want to get a little bit further down. Alright, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, those guards are very annoying. Also, I don't know what those weapons are they hold. As a kid, and I still see it, they look like drumsticks.
They look like drumsticks. So in 100%, we stop by this little cave here because this guy is really nice, and he just gives us 300 rupees.
We call this guy Yoda. and this cave is Dagobah.
Let's get to the Dagobah system.
So normally you would stay in this area and go straight to the second level Swamp Palace. But we don't play that in random or speedruns.
Yeah, in speedruns, we're definitely not going by the intended dungeon logic without... And that's kind of like the beauty of this game design is, like, you... For the most part, there are some dungeons you have to get certain items to do, but there are some you don't. Gonna grab the shovel here from Mr. Tree Boy. I'm doing a very nifty little strat here that we do in 100% that you don't do in NMG. We're gonna shovel up the flute into the warp spot by picking it up because we have iframes. And as soon as those iframes end, we immediately warp and we don't have to wait for the song to end. Very nifty little strat there. And while I collect this heart piece here, Satellite, if you want to go into the next guessing game for chat, coming up here in just a second.
Oh boy, you ready for the run to go over estimate? We're happening upon what we like to call hashtag gameplay.
Oh, warp bug. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the warps are definitely hashtag gameplay. No, but the only true RNG elements of the game, I mean, like, well, obviously enemies have RNG elements, but there are 2 heart pieces in the game that require winning mini games, and your success rate is absolute random.
So yeah, first one coming up here is digging game. We need to get a heart piece out of this digging game, and it costs 80 rupees to do per try. The heart piece will not show up until, I want to say it's like 22 or 24 digs. So we need to get 20 something digs before the heart piece will even show up.
And if it shows up in the spot you're digging in, it's random.
Correct.
So it's just...
So yeah, welcome to 100%.
We might be here a while. Cue your Jeopardy music, cue your Price is Right music, cue every game show music ever made. Cue your Seinfeld theme, no. So no big surprise, the first attempt was a bust.
So, like, luckily the thing with the digging game also is you usually get a lot of 20 rupees out of it. And you really want to bank on that because you need 80 rupees per dig game.
Yeah, it's very easy to make a profit.
Very easy to make your money back.
Which if this goes on long enough, you might not even have to pick up that extra money later.
Yeah, the only thing you can't get back is your time. Hey!
Oh, nice. Second
try. I'm telling you, man, I have great marathon luck, dude. I didn't want to jinx it by saying it earlier, but it's looking good. We get the hard RNG game out of the way with a good dig game. Anytime I do this category for a marathon, I get pretty good luck. As long as chess game comes out on top as well. I just need to only run this category in marathons. 2 dig game, really, really good. All right, here we get the...
also technically a mini game, but it's very easy, so...
Here's where we get the maze race. Second try dig game is pretty dang good. Especially in a marathon run, where I've gone as far as, like... Oh god, at least 12 to 13 digs.
Can you believe we're only now getting to Kakariko?
Yeah, first trip to Kakariko. Not bad at all. There's our first bottle pickup. After we get our bottle, we're going to go ahead and grab our net.
Yeah, sick kid. Well, he got sick. So he can't use his favorite bug catching net anymore. So he's going to give you this germ-covered net to catch stuff with.
Just make sure you disinfect that net.
And do not try wearing it as a face mask.
Yeah, I was very lucky. Absolutely. I believe it is the first time for the high roll anthem. No, I think you hear it after Eastern and after Desert Palace.
Which, by the way, no, that isn't the Ocarina of Time. It is an ocarina, but it's not the ocarina. Which is apparently made out of time shift stones. Thank you, Hyrule Historia.
Oh, Hyrule Historia. I need to get that.
It's a really cool book.
Neat little spin speed you can do there, but I messed it up, so we're not going to do it. Haha. Salute! Salute your ducks.
So here's the magic powder. This is the most overpowered item in the game. It's not really, but it's got a lot of uses.
Magic powder is really good. I'll be using it specifically for one thing that I need to get later on, but I'll get into that when we get there. And we're going to buy bottle number 2.
This is the other check we need a decent amount of money for. Is there only one more money check left, or is there 2? I think it's just 1.
1 more.
That's what I thought. Thankfully, there's an easy 30 rupees in here. Actually, isn't it just bombs behind that wall?
No, there's actually rupees behind your vanilla.
Alright, I thought the heart piece was near the room for some reason.
Oh, you mean the heart piece? Yes. No, yeah. So you definitely need to go into. I think they call this like Thieves' Hideout or something, or not Thieves' Hideout, but
Blind's house.
Blind's house. They call that Blind's house there, and you get a heart piece from there. So you go away, and we're gonna grab another one over here.
Oh yeah, his name was Blind, and he really hated bright light.
Grab the extra bombs
I'm a
there.
very open person.
Switch to hammer again. We're going to be using hammer here in just a second for another hammer dash there. For another.
So did we not point out that it's actually called the MC Hammer in Japan?
Is it really?
Which is short for magic, I'm pretty sure, but
That's fantastic.
I don't know if Mr. Hammer himself was actually popular in Japan or not, so could just be all one. It's
Amen.
probably just one crazy coincidence.
The 90s were definitely a time to be alive. Especially within video games. So after we pick up those 2 heart pieces, we are heading back into the Dark World. We're doing a lot of, pretty much a lot of item collection from Palace of Darkness to Thieves. You do a ton. Oops, did not mean to do that. But now it's time for the next guessing game of how many times it'll take for me to get the heart piece out of the chess game. Chess game is even pretty much more simpler than the dig game. It costs 30 rupees per try, and you have pretty much a 50-50 chance of the second chest that you open being a heart piece.
Which, by the way, hashtag gameplay.
Or not if it's not 50-50, but it's definitely less than 50-50. I don't know why I would think it was 50-50, but it's definitely not.
Also, Pyro plays in the chat. You're right. So the Super Bomb was the other one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, Super Bomb. There you go. Hey, there we go.
There we go. Not
I'm
bad.
telling you, gifted with that marathon luck. Not bad at all.
It'll all fall apart soon. Hey, remember that boomerang we skipped earlier?
I do. Oh, remember that bomb I just tossed the other way on accident?
That just happened.
I remember that boomerang that we skipped earlier. Wait a minute. There's a red meringue here. What's going on?
There's a red boomerang here for some reason. If you already have the red boomerang, though, it'll be 300 rupees.
So my only thought process behind by skipping the boomerang and the red boomerang showing up there is it's like the game giving you a second chance of collecting a boomerang. Whether or not the boomerang is not required at all in this game, but it's nice to have. So I feel like it's the game just like, hey man, here's this item you missed earlier. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of why it shows up there.
Yeah, the boomerang is not once required in this game, but honestly, That's one of the things I like about older Zelda games. There's items you don't ever need, but having like this varied arsenal is just really fun to play around with.
It is really fun, yeah.
I think by the time around Link's Awakening, I think is when all the items started. Every single item started having use. Well, except Ocarina of Time and a couple bonus items, which again I think is cool.
Exactly. All right,
the Majora's Mask gave all of them a purpose. Go ahead.
I am gonna actually. I'm gonna grab this fairy here because I need it later. Oh God, this freaking pattern. All right, I'm gonna reset the room. Jesus.
You're about to see why Magic Powder is really good.
I knew that was gonna happen. Hold on.
Free health.
Yeah, I need to catch one, because I need it for later. All right, here we go. When we go to get King of Beerner later, we may possibly need that fairy. Hellway room? No. If you line up on this tile right here at the very start, you can dash all the way through this room. Can you believe the rudeness I'm dealing with right here?
So that was a demonstration of something Diesel mentioned back at Tower of Hera. If you stand on these pegs as you let them rise, you'll be turn invincible for a few seconds.
Yeah, we use that to our advantage there to just avoid getting hit by any of those guys.
And you'll remain invincible as long as you stand on top of them. Also, yeah, the fairy spire was transparent in that room because I think it has something to do with the other enemies in the room.
Yeah. There's like so many sprites in this room. I think that's why it does that. Or that room.
You know, I'm glad someone else sees those enemies as crickets.
I see them as crickets. Or
grasshoppers.
grasshoppers. I was looking at them as grasshoppers. Yeah.
I guess grasshopper is more accurate because of the color, but
those crickets do a lot of damage if you run into them. So you gotta be a little careful around them. So coming up here in Thieves, the way that this dungeon works is you have to make your way to the jail cell to rescue the blind maiden. Well, she's not blind right now, but she's about to be blind.
This obvious actual person who is notably not in a crystal, which in vanilla gameplay you would have found 3 of them by now.
True. It's also the dungeon. We get the Titan's Mitt. Yep, very important item.
Which we were going to slap the boss with. No. No, those things could pick up giant rocks. Imagine getting slapped by them, actually.
That would be pretty bad. I messed that up.
Yeah, can you key dash through those locks or the locked doors, or will they always bonk?
They will always bonk. You cannot dash through those doors. That's why I stopped in between each one.
So I thought.
This fight can be scripted. For the most part, you can kind of wing it. I always like to wing this fight.
The interesting quirk of a blind here is that he takes a set number of hits. He does not have an HP meter, I guess.
Yeah, so whether you hit him with a hammer, the tempered sword, master sword, any sword, he always takes 3 hits per phase. So the first phase, 3 hits.
3 hits per face.
Per face? I'm just going to leave that there. But yeah, 3 hits per phase. Link, how dare you blind that poor girl with a blind light?
Can you believe if you blind someone with bright light, they'll get very angry and train a 3-headed monster?
Of course, you just want to mash through these dialogue screens. Lots of exposition here, but you gotta get the lore.
Sometimes I like comparing bosses to Zelda 1 bosses to see if there's like any inspiration. When I think about it, Blind is sort of like a Gleeok, strangely enough.
A little bit, yeah. It's actually
Gleeok being the dragon boss with multiple heads in Zelda 1.
Yeah.
Or if you destroy one head, it flies around the room.
Oh, that enemy was so annoying in Zelda 1.
Yeah, that chest is the last big money dump we go for.
Yeah, after you finish Thieves, you head directly right to C-shaped house, which is shaped like a C when you walk in there. And there's just a free 300 sitting right there. And no major glitches. Where we got, like we said earlier, where we got the red boomerang is normally the other 300. So there's 2 300 rupee chests in Thieves Town that you can get if you don't get the or if you do get the boomerang way at the beginning of the game. So here we're gonna pay the elves to make our tempered sword. As they are making our sword, we are going to do this. Get the purple chest here. Gonna mirror behind the peg. I think it goes far enough. Yeah. Drop into the hole to get our half magic. Go and just dash, leave the chest there.
This bad character is fairly amusing because he acts like he's cursing you to carry more magic when really it's a benefit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder though if he like did he mean to like give you actual bad curse and accidentally give you curse? I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure, but in the English text, like he's like, I'm gonna curse you, and then you end up with half magic. Like, oh, okay, thanks. It's pretty funny. Oh, gotta leave that out here, of course. What was I thinking?
Yeah, the chest does not like going in houses because it's very persnickety.
It's very rude to bring your chests in the house.
Yeah, so normally in vanilla you wouldn't get this until beating the 4th dungeon. However, since we did this one early, this is very easy to do early. We have the tempered sword now.
Yeah, since we did Thieves early, it pretty much gives us the ability to get tempered sword early, which in the long run saves us time on pretty much every fight going forward. The tempered sword does a lot more damage than the master sword does, so it's very vital that we get that now.
Mm-hmm. Did you skip the hammer pegs, by the way, or?
You know what? I did.
Oops.
I did. I always forget that heart piece for some reason, which it's fine because I'm right here, so I can get it.
I did wonder about that. I thought maybe like you saved it for after the batch or something. But...
No, I'm supposed to get it there with the frog, and
okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
This was almost a 99% run.
Almost an invalid run. I would have noticed which one it was though at the end. There's 2 heart pieces I usually consistently forget, and it's this one and the one in Mire. That's right outside of Mire, in the Mire shed. Like, if you're going into Mire in that area there, that heart piece, I always forget that one. Really good hammer dashing opportunities here.
It's just so fun watching Link just run down these pegs.
Yeah. There we go.
Excellent.
Now we can head to
Run is once more valid.
Skullwoods. We revalidated the run.
Hey, Skullwoods is still the 3rd dungeon. Who knew?
This is true.
So yeah, don't blink or you'll miss this dungeon, by the way.
You do skip a lot of dungeon within Skullwoods. And it's mostly because it's like it does feel like it's like a filler dungeon. You can head straight to the big key, get your item, and then head straight to the end. It's pretty glorious.
It's a very decent idea, but in execution, it's ludicrously quick.
Let's get rid of them now. Gibdos can be very annoying. Ooh, so can Wall Masters.
Yeah, Wall Masters are fun.
Very fun.
Quick little tidbit: in the bombable room to the right of this one, there is a full magic jar in case you ever need it.
Yeah, very helpful if you're ever in a tight squeeze for magic, which this dungeon you do need a lot of magic for if you don't have half magic. Half magic is like super good for this dungeon.
It's coming up as another bomb jump.
Yeah, bomb jump for Skull, pretty much the same as the Tower of Hera. Just line up your bomb, bonk off the wall, and blast your way across.
Technically, you don't even need to bonk off the wall, but it makes it much easier.
It makes it a lot easier. If you like are on the very edge of that platform and you lay the bomb, it'll work. The bonk just makes it a lot easier. Bees coming after me. Not the bees!
So what uninformed pleb is talking about, I was gonna bring up when we get to the fight here. Before that, though, I was gonna say something else about wall masters. I have seen people fall down the hole into the boss and get grabbed right out of the hole by wall master.
Yeah, it's happened to me multiple times. Wall
So
master.
nowadays, we always time our falls.
Yeah, you almost do have to time your falls. It's crazy, but Wall master can grab you as you're falling through that hole. It's really bad.
And in that room with the pits, normally you would go all the way around, stepping on the switches, but you can squeeze right between the cracks there and go right through without even bothering.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to get the key off the Gibdo here. And then go right. So the Wall Master going down there means I am perfectly clear to fall right into here without having to worry about it.
Welcome to the most well-programmed boss in the game.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about Mothula there, Satellite.
This boss, I believe it's... If you manage to knock the boss into certain spikes, I forget which ones,
It's a pretty good fight, though.
it will negate any damage it takes. Wow, you did that really quick. So it can be a very long fight if things go wrong, which it can very easily go wrong. The moving floor doesn't help. And, you know, one time I was playing this game and a friend tells me, you should try fighting this boss with the golden sword. So I do that out of curiosity. I feel like it's a bad idea. This boss ignores the golden sword entirely, unless you poke it.
Unless you poke it.
This is the weirdest fight in the entire game, and maybe the entire series as far as programming goes. Maybe not the entire series, but it's up there.
See, I didn't even know about the poking thing. I thought the butter sword did no damage whatsoever to Mothula.
It has something to do with the way damage tables are written, I believe. So just
because normally you're not supposed to have the gold sword when you get to Mothula. So if you just
it's not really that either, because like it still works fine like Argus and other bosses.
Right.
I think it's the way like multipliers work in the damage tables or something like that.
It just drives me crazy just how that fight works. You can't damage Mothula against the spikes. You can't damage him with the butter sword. Like, what else could possibly go wrong?
It would be a fine boss without these programming errors. Otherwise, it's one of the worst bosses in the game.
Yeah. So after we do Skullwoods, which is our third crystal dungeon in Dark World, we have enough money to buy our flippers, which allows us into 2 more dungeons. So we're gonna go ahead and grab those.
2?
Well, technically you need it for Ice Palace and whatchamacallit?
Swamp Palace, yes, but
yeah.
Technically you get Ice Palace by fake flippering.
Fake flippering, correct, yeah. But on our way to getting our flippers, we also get our first medallion. Which we'll be needing later for Total Rock. Good old Quake.
This place is called the Lake of Ill Omen. But when I was a kid, thanks to the font used in the game,
Right.
I thought it was Roman numeral 3, so I thought it was called the Lake of 3 Omen. I'm like,
Oh.
what are the 3 omens?
There are 3 omens here. You must collect them all. Also have a heart piece to collect over here once we get our flippers. And then we head straight to Ice Palace. Double checking my list, making sure I'm not forgetting any heart pieces. We are on track. We're doing good.
Seems that way. And if not, we'll figure it out. Maybe.
Maybe.
No guarantees.
No guarantees.
But here's our flippers. Link is now flapping around with these giant blue things on his feet.
Now allows us to swim. Before we head back down, yeah, we got a heart piece right over here. And then on to Ice Palace.
Mild tangent, but the Lake of Three Omen thing ended up being kind of funny when later on Ocarina of Time had the Well of Three features.
Well of 3 features, nice.
It's like, is this related? But no.
Go away. Thank you. Alright, hey, nice extra bomb there. We're actually going to need a couple extra bombs, potentially, if I mess up the bomb jump. There's another bomb jump coming up here in Ice Palace that we call IPBJ. Ice Palace bomb jump. This bomb jump is very crucial as it allows us to skip more, it feels like more than half of this dungeon. Oh, missed him.
It's a very nice trick, though. You can shoot through that statue to get that enemy. Also, by the way, it's very nice having half magic in this dungeon. You don't have half magic in any percent, and so this dungeon becomes very annoying to manage your magic.
Yeah, magic usage is important in this dungeon as well.
If you do not have anything less than a full magic meter going into the bar, you are screwed.
So we can skip that bottom room. I believe it's just the compass.
This is another blink and you miss a dungeon, by the way.
Yeah, very fast dungeon, but for good reasons. We don't want to be here long because the intended route's very long. The enemies do a lot of damage, and Cold Stare is a jerk. So these guys are jerks too. Holy crap! Thank you. If you place that bomb in the bottom right corner there, it should hit the switch and bomb the floor at the same time. Very nice.
It's a very nice little time saver, as well as this little trick.
Which I believe I got it. Yay! There we go.
2 Staphos with 1 bomb.
4 bombs. 5 bombs should be good. Key is always on the second jelly there. We should... Ooh!
There's all kinds of electricity going on right now.
So unlucky, man.
Normally you would leave that switch alone because it needed to go past here. Or do you? Question mark.
So, that is the Ice Palace bomb jump. That bomb jump, the way we execute it, at least, is we line up on a very specific set of pixels that we either line up on the wall or the floor, as well as the bomb itself. You line yourself up and you can blast yourself across that platform, saving you a ton of time later on in this dungeon. It's one of the biggest skips without glitching the game in the speedrun for sure.
I actually have the I still have the image on hand, so if anybody's curious, this is the setup for it.
Yeah, if you look at that image there, that's like anybody can execute that bomb jump. It's super easy. I'm gonna grab this safety fairy up here.
Thanks to this bomb jump that we do, we can skip like at least 50% of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Just push this block right down and go straight to the boss.
Yeah, that image is just an introduction into how awesome bomb jumping is in this game. Like you use the same formula for other bomb jumps, just the setups are different. So it's really cool. Really cool stuff. Upcoming here is our good friend Cold Stare.
His name is actually Cold Stare. This is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. See, if you set this up right, you can get him right into the corner and bully him just like that.
Not bad at all. Oh, why was I expecting it to drop first? This isn't Trinex. But yeah,
like Diesel was saying earlier, blue mail is usually the only dungeon item here. We don't get it because, well, it doesn't count apparently, which is sad because blue mail looks awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, we skipped the blue mail in this dungeon because we only need the red mail. But yeah, the blue mail is pretty cool. As I like the look of it. Gives you the banana hat.
As one of our good friends calls it.
I messed up the cool star fight was pretty good. I messed up the first phase a little bit, but the idea there is to always pin cold steer to the top right corner. There's different methods of doing that. You can kind of do this little dash strat, which is really, really cool to do, but also hard to execute. The easier method is to just pin him in the corner and just use your temper sword.
There is a trick that was fairly recently discovered. And by recently, I mean sometime last year, I think. Where you trade off Fire Rod with sword beams. Cold Star counts them as Fire Rod shots, so you can use less magic.
Which is really cool, yeah.
It's like I was saying earlier, there was some very interesting programming quirks in this game, but again, it's like nothing really that would break the game casually at all.
Exactly.
So for the time, it was very well put together.
So we're now on our way to get a few extra items needed for 100%. Next is the Cane of Berna. This is an item that is not required for the completion of this game whatsoever. It's just like an extra equipable side item. But this is also one of the reasons why I grabbed the fairy, because this room is really tough to get optimally. I don't think I've
believe
ever
you use the hook shot on torches normally, right?
You do, but in the 100% route, we don't go to swamp until after. The swamp is like the second to last dungeon we do. But normally you can have the hook shot to hook shot the lamps, make it a little bit easier. You can time your dashes to where it makes it a little bit easier on those as well.
Yeah, show him how you escape from this room.
Oh,
yeah,
let me show you here. This is very fun.
So let's just march on out of here in super speed.
I love it. Leaving this cave is the best. So you spin speed off those steps, and then after you execute the spin speed, you throw on Cane of Birna, and yeah, there you go.
The Cane of Birna is it's a very useful item because like the little beams floating around you not only prevent all damage, but they'll hurt enemies. However, it does cause a lot of lag, so you won't be seeing it very often, if at all, in this run.
Exactly. So after Birna, we're going to go ahead and pick up the second medallion, the Ether Medallion.
We now have both of the required medallions. There is a third not required medallion, but it just happens to be the most fun of the three, unfortunately.
Exactly. And upcoming next is Misery Mire, but we're gonna go ahead and grab this first. So this is the other heart piece that I tend to forget because it's kind of a little bit out of the way, but I remember.
If you're fast enough, you can dash right between those guys and
skip that whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What about Checkerboard Cave? Do you get that before or after this dungeon?
After Mire.
Okay.
So we're going to get the other heart piece after Mire. Actually, you know what? Do you grab it before? No, yeah. You grab it after.
It makes sense because you gotta go all the way back and all the way back around
Yeah,
to the dungeon.
I'm thinking of NMG, where in NMG you don't need it at all. So I'm thinking of, because in NMG you flute away as soon as you're done with this dungeon. But yeah, you need to go get it after.
Rip bird toss, by the way.
Yeah, you don't get to do bird toss, unfortunately.
Bird toss is, for those who don't know, there's a little dino bird enemy that chases you in this area. It will freeze, like Ether freezes enemies, so it will freeze. If it lands next to you, you can pick it up and throw it. Usually people will pick it up and throw it into the water.
It's not a bad mire too. That's one of my favorite rooms to really do in the game, like to optimize because of the whiz robes. You can get all those whiz robes in one cycle if you're fast enough. It's really fun to do. Misery Mire is also like another one of those dungeons where we just skip a ton of stuff in this dungeon.
It's a very unremarkable dungeon in general, honestly.
It really is. There's just a lot of useless rooms that do nothing. We skip all that stuff.
Like, what's the theme here?
What's the setting? Definitely want to hit that switch. We're going to need that switch hit later on. Free magic here always.
This is a neat little trick where you can just shoot the fire rod right over the blocks. Save you some time.
Yeah, so when you're moving blocks, you can shoot a fire rod through them. You can also make them disappear by using the mirror, but that only works in blocks that you push outside of dungeons.
We'll be seeing this with a different weapon later.
Oh, hello.
As uninformed as said, this is the crappy 6th dungeon full of whiz robes. Yeah, that's pretty true for Zelda 1 too. Level 6 is the absolute worst dungeon in Zelda 1. I mean,
that's so true, man. There's so many wizrobes in this dungeon.
but yeah, these whiz robes aren't nearly as bad. Although apparently I learned recently they thought whiz robes were too easy, so they overtuned them or something like that.
Oh, wow.
I think it was too easy in level 9, so they overtuned them without thinking of level 6.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I think this is, unless you have like the bonus items, that chest is basically mandatory damage in the original game.
Yeah.
A little bit of an eyebrow raise, but whatever.
It's a little weird. Game kind of just expects you to get this optional item you don't need. It's gotta be kind. That never gets old. So yeah, pick up the key, King Samaria here in Mire. Pretty useful only in this dungeon for the most part. We'll use it a couple times here and there.
It can be useful in other dungeons, but that's only if you get it before those dungeons. Although that block setup is actually pretty good. There is a trick in this room somehow.
The trick in this room I've never learned, but it's really nifty. You fire rod at this anti-fairy after doing other things that allow you to hit that switch in the other room without going into it. It is very, very weird. I've never understood it, and yeah.
It's so bizarre.
This game is something else, man.
Although if you ask me, that room in general is just pointless, but...
This game is just something else. Alright, if you want to go over Vitreous while I do this fight.
Vitreous is, well, in the vanilla game, I think you're expected to use arrows to shoot all these little eyeballs, but in the speed run, you just walk in there with your spin attack and, destroy them. And arrows are, of course, the fastest way to kill the big eye. So now that he has Dungeons 5 and 6 done, he has access to the Super Bomb.
My
the
cousin
Super Bomb gives you 2 very important upgrades.
And just picture Vitreous in a courtroom trying to get his little eyeball cousins off of murder. So yeah, that's deboost the boss fight. You take a deboost from the, so if you walk into the slime area, you don't even have to be touching the eyeball. You take the smallest amount of damage. You use those iframes to use a spin attack within a group of those eyes. You can get 2 attacks with a spin attack. You just want to be able to get as much as you can in that area as possible. So that's basically how that fight works. Normally we'd be fluting away from here, but we need to go get a heart piece in what we call Checkerboard Cave.
Very easy to see why in a minute.
In just a second.
And this will be why.
This is also an example of where you can make the blocks disappear there by mashing the Y button with mirror equipped. Again, that only works when you're not in a dungeon.
Yes, because if you try it in a dungeon, you'll just go straight back to the...
Yeah.
And you'll feel really, really stupid.
You'll feel really dumb. You're like, oh.
I'm pretty sure I've tried it once in Randomizer.
I have as well. I think everybody has if you played Rando. And there we go. Down to 6 or 5, and number 6, which is the second intended dungeon of the game, we'll be doing second to last.
The famous Swamp Palace. It's actually a pretty decent level.
I like Swamp Palace. In this speedrun, it's a nice little breather dungeon I've always referred to in the past. The enemies don't do a lot of damage. It's a very linear dungeon. There's not a lot of areas that you don't need to go into. It's very straightforward, and you get the hook shot, which is pretty much one of the best items in the game.
In the series.
And yeah, it's a nice little dungeon, especially in the speedrun. If you're like on PB pace, it's a nice breather to go through. It lets you kind of collect yourself, and so you can get ready for the last part of the dungeon or the game, which is a little bit more difficult. I need to hold on. I did this wrong. I gotta get a heart piece here.
All right.
I need to put the mirror spot over here so I don't hit it the second time.
Uninformed is asking, do you get the pyramid stuff before this dungeon or later?
We get the pyramid stuff after Swamp Palace.
It sounded right.
Yep.
And Swamp Palace doesn't go that much faster with Gold Sword and whatnot.
Correct. You really don't get an advantage with having those two.
Also, you have to aim that arrow, and it's just more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Because yeah, like the little popcorns or cauliflowers or whatever you want to call them take one hit. So with the temper sword, even.
Oh, what am I doing? At least in my notes, it doesn't have me getting that stuff before.
Hmm. And
Swamp.
with the tempered sword, he'll go down into spin attacks, so
Yeah.
which are very easy to time.
Yeah. In my notes that I follow, I pretty much penciled them in off of Zelda's run. He gets
Actually,
them...
can't you? Go ahead.
No, he gets that stuff just like before going to Turok.
All right, I was gonna say, can't you one cycle Argus using like the fire rod and something?
You can, and that's why, like, optimally, like, you can one cycle Argus with the fire rod, but it's it's one of the hardest fights in the game, I think, to get optimally. Like, it looks really tough.
I would say Argus is maybe my favorite boss in the game, next to the final boss.
Argus is pretty cool to fight. Oh. There we go.
Yeah, these fire bars are very annoying.
Fire bars are very annoying in Swamp.
You didn't have much trouble with them in Mittermeier, did you?
Nope.
Which is very unusual, because they're usually the worst there.
Hit the switch behind the wall and then go for it. It makes it a lot faster. 16-bit Patra.
Oh yeah, they're definitely based on the same thing. It's just that Argus is way better.
Yeah. I ran right into that fireball. Very nice. Those fireballs only activate when you are either... Well, pretty much like only when your sword is out. So if you swing your sword, it shoots a fireball. If you're dashing, it shoots a fireball. It's really weird.
Hey, Diesel.
Yes.
What's a pirate's favorite Zelda boss? Argus.
Man, come on.
I am leaving. Goodbye, everyone.
Ding, 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 ding. Cue the Seinfeld scene.
I would try to do that with my mouth, but I don't think I could. That's supposed to be good.
I'll take it. Oh. I don't know if it saves that much time being able to hook dash the stairs, but yeah. I don't know why I did that.
Welcome to the best item in the game.
Hookshot, one of the best items in the game. It's really good for like movement alone in some certain situations where it's just faster to hookshot. Here, you can pick up the pot while you're pushing the statue. If you're behind it like that, saves a little bit of time.
It's easier than it looks. You just gotta like mash the A button, really.
Yeah. If that red jelly is not electrified, the second you walk into that room, you are guaranteed to be able to dash into it. I've found out. Like, it has like 2 timing patterns. Like, if you go into that screen transition and it's already electrified, obviously you can't dash into it. But if it's not, like, you are good to go.
You know, I mentioned the glitch staircase in rather the bugged staircase.
Oh yeah.
In Swap Palace, but I forgot you don't even go through it in speedrun, so.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry about it. Oh.
I swear it's just a 1.0 thing too, but like every time you go up this staircase, Link will just not come out of it properly and go immediately right back down. Then the second time it'll be fine for whatever reason.
Can't swim today, man.
Yeah, swimming is hard in this game.
I just can't swim. I don't know why.
I'm not even making fun. Swimming is hard in this game.
That was the wrong way. So you want to limit your space between you and Argus as close as possible. If you want to do it like the most, oh god, safe way there. Yeah. Without doing the weird dash strat.
You're out of a fairy, so be careful.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's get to this phase. It's very easy.
Get the dirty, nasty 2-cycle Argus. I would also like to top off of that Max Sheehan highlighted message. RGL TV has been doing an amazing job all week with some great speedruns on this marathon. I'd also like to thank them for adding me and allowing me and Satellite to join this wonderful marathon as well. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for the privilege.
The closing of this marathon with Zelda games was a fantastic idea, I think. Because, I tell you, Gamelon and Zelda's Adventure are some experiences that, if you've never experienced before, deserve a thorough experience.
And while we're going through exposition here, I would like to mention Zelda. There's an article on Nintendo Player, I believe. People who made like the models for Zelda's Adventure that they digitized. There is a lot of love put into this game, and so it's a shame it turned out the way it did.
It's a shame that it was on the CDI.
Mm-hmm. Like how even the other CDI Zelda games, the 2D ones, have some decent effort put into the music and graphics department.
Yeah.
In game, not the cutscenes, obviously. But...
Alright, so from here, after... Oh, how dare you steal a bomb from me.
Those enemies are called Picket. It's a very good name.
It is a very good name, I agree. Go over to the Lake Hylia. Grab that one there. I can't remember it. Do I actually... No. Yeah. We do that. Oh, wait. I don't think it honestly matters. As long as you get there. I want to say this way was faster. Well, we're coming up on Me and Satellite's favorite guy here.
So I can't take all credit here. The famous Smooth McGrew was the guy who kind of inspired me because a long time ago he streamed this game, and we came upon this little guy here. We only know as Under the Bridge guy, and like this mysterious guy who's just sleeping under the bridge, and gives you a bottle. So,
shout outs to Bridge Guy.
We have called him Bridge Guy. We have alternatively called him Bridge Man. Randomizer crowd calls him Hobo. I don't approve.
Don't approve either.
This guy's just a source of much mystery for us, and
he's always been
he's
always been Bridge Guy in my heart.
But yeah, no, guy living under a bridge is probably pretty obvious why he's there. But
yeah, I know. He just steals money, bombs, and arrows. Yeah, exactly. The guy's the worst.
In my heart, I like to think he's just an enlightened individual. He's just abandoned this materialistic way of life and living under a bridge. Anyway, Super Bomb.
Here's our Super Bomb, which is now the time and moment where we'll be getting the strongest weapons in the game. Thankfully, we can take the shortcut here.
This is one quick little optimization as well, yeah. Thanks to the portal at Hyrule Castle, you can just skip ahead and go all the way around.
Something I never did as a kid. I always took the hard, long path of going the right side around. I was like, oh, I never realized I could do this as a kid. Just use the mirror and skip my way through.
It's the same way for me, actually.
Yeah. As part of 100%, we need to upgrade our bow and our sword to the max potential. This is where you get silver arrows and butter sword.
This is the only fairy fountain we go to in the speedrun.
That is correct.
Also, if you throw a bottle into any of these fairy fountains, an empty bottle, the fairy will give you a green potion in return. It's like a little small tip. But there's a lot of small things in this game. Across this entire game, a lot of them we don't see in any of the speedruns. Honestly, it's why it's one of my favorite games.
Yeah. Finding out about the fairy stuff when I was a kid was like one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, now we have the level 4 Golden Sword, or affectionately known as the Butter Sword.
Good old Butter Sword. Best sword in the game. We now have silver arrows, which pretty much kills everything except Vitreous and Ganon in one arrow, which is like the weirdest thing to pair those two together, but yeah. Oh, here we go.
And here's a tomb you can only open with a bonk in a normal game,
Or you just do that little thing there.
It is a neat little trick. And again, every time these little exploits come up, I just think to myself, why does the programming do that? But I mean...
It just does, man. It just does.
But here's the second invincibility item in the game, the Magic Cape. It does not harm enemies, but it does let you pass through bumpers, which we will need in a second.
So now that we're on our way to the last crystal dungeon of the game, we're pretty much doing all our cleanup now, getting up all the rest of the items, heart pieces that we haven't gotten on the base level of Hyrule before we head up to Death Mountain, so we don't have to come back down here to get anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So a few more heart pieces to get here.
Oh, there's 2 more. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
We save those for now because it's the best time to get them. Actually, no, I need hookshot first. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you need the cape for. Those little bumpers there.
Oh my goodness.
They make a fun noise as they send you flying in a different direction, but the cape ignores them entirely. Well, technically, you didn't need the cape. You could actually walk around the top of the turn, but hookshot is faster, so.
After you grab the heart there, then you can go ahead and mirror back to this part here.
This tree only opens up after you defeat Aghanim the first time.
Yep.
In the beginning of the game, the lumberjacks are working on it.
So you
and
can
mention having a funny feeling about the tree.
They have a funny feeling about the tree as they're cutting it. And then you can check this tree actually as soon as you get to Dark World. You can check it anytime.
It doubles as the worst place to have a required item in Randomizer.
It really does. And then we are going to be on our way to grab the last Y button usable weapon in this game, which is also, if I get the fight correctly, which hopefully I will, we're only going to be using this ice rod one single time in this entire run. And that is for Trinex. If I get the fight correctly, I only need to use the ice rod once, and then we can never use it again.
I always go back and forth on whether or not the implementation of ice rod was good, because imagine going all the way to Trinex and not having this, but then again, at the same time, Sahasrara just outright tells you about it.
He tells you about it. Literally, it's like literally the first thing he tells you about. And I remember being a kid playing this game, and the second that he tells you that, I'm like, all right, I'm on my way to go get that. I always had the ice rod as I get Dead Rock blocked here. I always had the ice rod super early in my casual playthroughs as a kid.
Hey, you're getting bodied by cabbage.
Bodied by cabbage, bodied by Dead Rocks. Just the ultimate nightmare.
Tektites.
I just need to survive through this area. Oh my goodness. There we go.
We are now entering what is known as Paradox Cave.
That's twice we've gotten dead-rocked in this run.
Is there not a heart piece in there?
Nope.
That's right, okay.
Heart piece on floating island up there, which we'll get after T-Rock, and then a heart piece in Mimic Cave in T-Rock, and those are our final two heart pieces. Because we'll get a heart piece off of a full heart piece off of Trinex, and then 2 heart pieces. We'll make another full one, and that'll give us all our hearts.
So when I think about it, the way you enter this dungeon and Quake and Ether makes so much sense. With Quake, you're shaking the door open. With Ether, you're calming the storms.
You know, I never thought about that.
I think I just now put that together.
It's actually really good. I like it. You should go work for Did You Know Gaming.
Or voice an episode at least. Who's
Yeah.
this random guy? Keeps stumbling over every other word.
Oh, that is rude on
That
another
was-
level, man.
Terrible timing. Yeah, this is Turtle Rock. You just saw this in the last speedrun. It's debatable which one is better, but I think they're both good.
Yeah. Neat little strat here. We're gonna... Oh, I missed it. We're gonna use the hook shot to pull ourselves off the platform to save ourselves some time to get through this door here. And in hundo percent, you can do a really cool thing here with Cape. I didn't open up the wrong chest. Thank you.
Oh, nice. It's the map in that other chest, right?
Yeah, maps in the other chest. Grab the full magic there. Bombos is that's right, and you know what? I actually forget that a lot because I don't play rando a lot anymore. But Bombos is like, yeah, the most efficient way to to get rid of Colster Shell. This here, the Chompy Room. We're good. In the Chompy Room, like we've been using before, or you can use before, you use the iframes of standing on top of the pegs when they come up to allow the first attack of the Chompy Lunge to go right through you and not damage you.
Don't they do something like 5 hearts on Green Tunic?
Yeah, those Chompies do a ton of damage.
At least 4.
They are very dangerous. That room can be very much a nuisance.
Yeah, I guess that, well, I don't know if they got the name Bow Wow from this. But either way, they're here.
They're here. Bow Wow's back.
It always didn't amuse me how they had the exact same sound effect as the guards. That could be fridge horror if you think about it.
I'm gonna go in a bunny and out a Link.
What's interesting is, if you have another Tunic when that happens, you will briefly appear as Green Tunic before transforming back into Green Tunic.
Alright, that I didn't know either. That's pretty funny. It's like a wardrobe change.
I always did like these tubes. Oh, but when you think about it, Link is getting just tossed around all over the place in there.
It's like he's in Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, now I hate everything. No, I'm kidding.
Dang. So normally we would shoot straight to the right there to exit the dungeon, but we need a heart piece that's out here in good old Mimic Cave.
Mimic Cave is fun.
You need the mirror for it, and you just need to know where to go for that. Like, I think when I was a kid, I knew that was a thing, but as I got older, I forgot about it. So it's just one of those spots that can be easy to forget.
There is a way to get here without.
Oh yeah, get into that
dungeon.
Yeah,
I believe it's considered. Is it considered a major glitch?
it is considered a major glitch. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But it wouldn't save you time in 100% anyway. But if you line yourself next to one of the boulders up top, and you use the mirror in a specific spot, when you mirror back in the dark world, you'll be standing on the ledge, and you can jump right down to a mimic cave.
Yeah, like not having to go through the dungeon at all, and that is a major glitch because it's not allowed in randos and stuff. So.
Anyway, here's the mirror shield, back when it was very literal.
Yeah. Here we pick up
Still literal, but...
the it's the first shield item we get, but it's also the highest tier, so
The first and also the last.
first and the last.
Now, this room is very intimidating when you don't know what you're doing, but once you figure it out,
Yeah, this
it's
is
just ludicrously simple to navigate.
this is a scripted room. Yeah, you don't really have to worry about anything in this room here.
You don't have to do it, but if there's a small exploit where while you're using the hook shot, as long as it's out, you're invulnerable, so you can dodge damage that way when the fire bars are coming around you.
Here, all we need is the last chest, which is the small key there. And we can back out. If you're not comfortable with the fight coming up with Trinex, you can go outside that bombable wall below that last chest there and get a little checkpoint. If you die, you'll respawn right there. Here's a neat little burn dash we can do, or Samaria dash, but I messed it up.
Oops.
Rip the Samaria dash.
Yeah, normally it's in the square below that. You aim it so that it's pointing, so that the blocks are like at an intersection between two different crystal switches. So you hit it once, it will trigger one block, so you can get through one set. And when you're through that set, it'll trigger the other block, so you can go through that set and go straight to the boss. Anyway, here's Trinex. He is fun.
Just gonna. That's all right. We're good. So I almost got the 0 cycle Trinex fight, which that strat entails you dashing behind him, immediately shooting the ice rod on the firehead, getting 3 hits on the butter sword, immediately going to the firehead or the ice head, fire rod, and 3 hits with a butter sword. you can kill Trinex before he does that lunge attack. That was pretty close, but again, decent fight.
Normally you can only hit Trinex in the glowing orb on his body, but if you attack him fast enough after a break, you can hit him on the head as SDiezal just did and kill him very quickly that way.
Yeah, you can get like one good hit, well, 2 good hits with a proper sword spin. The Zero Cycle is so good. I love getting the Zero Cycle on Trinex. It's really fun. But that does it for the Crystal Dungeons. On our way to Ganon's Tower. To where the only item we need to collect within this dungeon for 100% is the red tunic.
Finally, some color. I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we have one more heart piece to get too as well. The final heart piece to give us at max health.
What is this cave of vanilla? Just all rupees?
It's rupees and arrows, from what I remember. Maybe some bombs too. It's a pretty useless cave, though.
There's a lot of these side caves that I'm mentioning, but
yeah,
rupees and
I mean,
power-ups.
you know, that's a Zelda game for you. You're gonna
But
find,
yeah,
you're gonna run into a lot of useless caves, and it's all about the exploration of things. But yeah,
indeed.
That cave though, because we know it is Hookshot Cave, and it can be very lucrative in rando. Like in vanilla, it's pretty useless. So,
Oh, yeah.
minus getting to the floating island with a heart piece.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I am definitely one of those people who feel the journey is the reward.
Yes.
But sometimes I still want to be rewarded. So
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Final dungeon, Ganon's Tower. This is my final dungeon of the game. A lot of fun stuff you can do here, tech-wise, and just I just love the way this dungeon's laid out and everything. It's really fun to do.
And this is another dungeon, yet another dungeon in the game where you skip a whole lot of it.
You do skip a lot of this dungeon, that's for sure. Oops, crap. There we go.
One day.
One day we'll get through this. For here, I'm actually gonna do the Samaria strat here. The Bloomerang makes this strat a lot easier. Red Ring's a little tough. This is a little cool strat you can do with a hook shot here is iframe through those spikes.
It's a wonderful strat. Now bonk over the fire bar.
Bonk over the fire bar, hook shot it up,
Amazing.
hit the switch here, go past the fire bar and go straight. Like, these rooms are just so fun to do.
It's a very smooth room.
Skip the right portal, go to the left. We're gonna grab some safety arrows up here. Actually, yeah, let's grab these arrows. Why not? Actually, no, we don't need to. We're gonna do it. Oh! I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. I meant to hit the hookshot button there. We're gonna bonk over that teleport.
I'm not as consistent as I would like to be over that bonk. A lot of times I just end up going a mistake.
Yeah, we're gonna bonk over that platform there.
This is a very nice skip.
The child in me is like, what? You could do that? Like, yeah, dude, you can do that. Because I used to do that room intentional as I was a kid, like, all the time. Ice Armos.
Hey, these guys look familiar.
These guys look familiar. Talk about awkward.
I didn't kill your cousins.
That fight's a lot harder without silver arrows. Silver makes that fight pretty free.
Mm.
Normally we would mirror right there, but we have one more very important item to get for this category.
The final item.
And then we can skip everything else.
So last, we have an armor upgrade. This makes the game the most comfortable game,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Like, we're maxed out. That's everything. We are good to go.
Again, it still hurts a bit, but with this much health, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Ooh, that was bad placement there. You can manipulate these guys here by doing this.
This is the fun manipulation.
Yeah.
One I also like doing is grabbing an object and pulling or pushing. It makes them move, even though you're not moving at all.
Yeah.
It's like you're mind controlling them. Also, as he just did, while you're shooting an arrow, you can press the direction and make them move right into it.
Nice dash.
Nice. That is... Is that pretty much random, or is there like a timing
It's. I feel like there's a timing for it, but it's probably random. It just feels so good when you get it, man. I feel like there's a timing for it. I could be wrong though.
There's also a small strat in that the cannonball room, or if you just fall off the bridge, you'll respawn with iframes and just dash right through.
It's a bad first room of the gauntlet.
Yeah, the gauntlet is the worst part.
Easily the most annoying part of Ganon's Tower is this gauntlet that you run through here. A series of
Particularly
rooms.
this room.
Yeah, a series of rooms that you have to go through. You can only advance once you've defeated all the enemies per room, and that can be really random, as you can see. This room, not so much. You can kind of finagle your way through it.
This room isn't necessarily free. We'll call it cheap.
Yeah, there's a pretty solid strat for that room. This room is pretty much like the others for the most part. Here, I want to get the silver arrow strat for these guys if I'm lucky. I'll take it.
Nice.
I took one hit from the fireball, but I'll take it. It's pretty good.
We're going to see some fun use of Cane of Samaria coming up.
Really fun use of Cane of Samaria here.
Well, that was easy.
Best room right here.
When you get this strat right, it feels so good.
So good. I love that room.
I always tell myself, every time I get it, I always tell myself easy every time. It is not easy every time. I'm just trying to instill confidence in myself. There is a very interesting bug in this level.
Which I'm gonna wait on, because I don't trust it.
Yeah.
There it
If you
is.
go up the steps at the same time that the torches go out in the previous room, all the enemies will despawn, and the level will become permanently soft locked. You will have to leave the level and restart everything.
Yeah,
It is not very nice.
It's not nice at all. I've been fortunate enough to where that's actually, oh god, that's never happened to me. But I knew there's gonna be one day where it does.
Dashing through the spikes to trigger the big one is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Here's an easy health setup right there.
I like to grab that no matter what. And then,
Of course, this guy's
hey!
back. But hey, he's also pretty easy now.
It's very easy. Forgot to switch the hook shot there, but...
Oh, shoot. Yeah, if you time it right, you can use the hook shot on the spawning chest at the exact right moment.
Despawn the tower. And yeah, I had to. I'm sorry.
Validation chest.
I had to get one unintended chest, and that's a fan favorite right there.
So as you saw right there, you can also hook shot over that block as you're pushing. Another small optimization. And now maybe the actual worst boss in the
This
game.
might be the worst fight in the game. At least the most annoying fight in the game, easily.
So you have to get 6 hits again.
Oh god, look at this pattern.
And the shadows will always fire energy balls, but Aghanims can still fire blue balls. There's no more lightning anymore, but the setups can be just really awful for trying to get good shots. And sometimes if you hit deflect multiple
Oh, look at
hits
this.
at the same time, it won't even trigger as a Register has one.
That pattern right there was ridiculous, but
Yeah, that was a really good pattern. I don't think I've actually seen that one.
they were all in the same spot, right up the center too. Agonometry uniform. Thank you for that. I'm going to be using that in my future runs. Great terminology.
And the bird somehow works now.
Somehow the bird just magically can fly in dungeons. It's okay though.
So again, it crashes to the roof, and here comes Link.
You can get a cheap shot right at the start there.
So Ganon fight is pretty fun. It's not... Nah, never mind. I was gonna say it's not too much different from how you'd fight him casually, but then again, it depends.
So I got a pretty decent pattern to work with at the start. Didn't really have to do too much there, but we're gonna get ready on time here soonish. Wow, I'm in control of the timer, so.
I should more say that the way I fought him casually before I learned to speedrun is actually pretty similar to how you fight him in speedrun. So I just got lucky. But
yeah, like if for 100%, it's like the butter sword just does so much damage again. And so after,
yeah, as was alluded to earlier, these warps are very random.
Yeah, these ramps are random. And after this phase here is 4 silver arrows to victory. We're gonna want to get this torch glitch here. We don't need it in 100%, but it definitely helps.
Basically, if you light the second torch before the first one goes out, or rather the right one goes out, the right one will never go out, so you can save magic that way.
I missed a shot there. That's okay. I was aiming the wrong way.
If you're lucky, you can get multiple silver arrow hits on Ganon while he's stunned. I think only while he's at the bottom, though. Is that right?
It could be at the top, I think, but it's tough.
Okay.
But that's GG. Let's get ready on time.
GG
man.
indeed. And time always ends on screen transition, just like Link's Awakening.
Let's do an arrow dash here. Yeah.
That was good to me.
Oh,
GG.
I forgot. Sorry. I am so sorry. I had my victory sound clip on my live split, so apologies for that.
Oops, I didn't hear it, so that's...
Thank you for the GGs. That was a clip from Independence Day, if you are familiar with that. Thanks for the GGs, guys. Thank you so much. A 2 hour, 1 minute, 9 second, 100% speedrun in which 5 minutes of that is easily dictated by RNG. I will gladly take it with a 2 hour estimate. That was beautiful. What a great run. I really enjoyed this run.
Nicely done. It helped that hashtag gameplay was...
It helped a ton that chess game and dig game were within less than 3 tries both. So yeah, like if you run this category normally, you know that both of those games to get hard pieces can be just detrimental. And I've had very fortunate marathon luck to where I've gotten it in pretty early in all my runs. So yeah. As we watch the credits here, I would like to say thank you to RGL TV. We'll get on to the next run. I am SDiezal. This was A Link to the Past 100%. With me was the Satellite 54 on commentary. Thank you so much for doing this with me, dude. Definitely helps me. Absolutely helps me on my voice. I don't have to talk so much, and it's always good camaraderie with one of my friends that we also ran rando together in speedrun this as well. So lots of good times, and also honored to be a part of this awesome Zelda, or I'm sorry, Newtopia block. Let me just correct myself there. I'm so sorry. Coming up in the Newtopia block is, I believe, Zelda 2 with your boy Ice Blue.
The adventure of... What's the Newtopia protagonist's name again?
Good
talk.
Yeah, that guy. But thank you again, everyone. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. Only 3 runs left to go. Or, I'm sorry, 2 runs left to go. So,
Best of luck.
Best of luck to Ice Blue and the rest. And thanks again, everyone. Have a good one.
See y'all.